Today I'm going to be learning more about Dutch driving infrastructure and in particular traffic calming. Traffic calming is everywhere in the Netherlands and I've watched a few videos from this channel, Not Just Bikes, so please go subscribe to them. They make like brilliant content about the Netherlands, and I've seen traffic calming measures in a few of those videos that I've not seen anywhere else, and it seems quite common in Netherlands and is very intelligently done, very strategic, and it makes, I think, driving in Netherlands, cycling, a very pleasant experience, a very safe experience as well, compared to a lot of other countries. So interested to see this. Tell me what you think about it. Let's watch.
Traffic calming in the Netherlands is a huge topic. Whole books have been written about it, like this one. But to me, Dutch traffic calming isn't just about the techniques that are used. That's interesting, but it's almost secondary. What's really remarkable about the Netherlands is that traffic calming is everywhere. Where I've lived in Canada and in the US, traffic calming is only applied if there's enough demand for it. If enough people have died at a specific location or enough people complain about it long enough, then traffic calming might be considered. For example, Toronto has this convoluted warrant system through which you need to prove that traffic calming is truly required and won't put too much of a burden on those poor drivers. Even after all this process, traffic calming in Canada is extremely minimal. Yes, this street is traffic calmed. Somebody went through that whole warrants nonsense to get this. Last summer, I was visiting the neighborhood where I grew up and saw this. The first sign says, "Traffic calm neighborhood." The second sign says, 50 kilometer per hour speed limit. Like, seriously? This two-way residential road is 10 meters wide, and the quote, traffic calming is nothing but a few speed bumps. There's no one-way streets, raised crossings, continuous sidewalks, rough road surfaces, narrowed lanes, chicanes, street cuts, or anything else.
Yeah, so I mean that's a huge number of different types of traffic calming in Netherlands. Tell me, if you're from Netherlands, do you take this for granted? Do you think about it? I guess when you grow up in a country, you don't really think about these things too much. You just take it for granted. But maybe if you go to another country and you see the lack of traffic calming, then you're like, oh, wait a minute, like Netherlands is quite unique in that respect. Just with regards to like the things that you have to go through in Canada there in comparison to Netherlands, it seems maybe Netherlands is more proactive rather than reactive, which is the case in a lot of other countries as well. So I actually think it just makes Netherlands like so unique in that respect.
This tells you all you need to know about traffic calming in Canada. Compare that to the Netherlands, where traffic calming is baked into the National Road Safety Guidelines. It doesn't matter if you're in a major city or in a village, if you're near the city center or in a suburb. All streets are required to follow the same national guidelines. It's still possible to find streets that are not traffic calmed, but that will usually only happen if the street hasn't had a redesign in the past few decades. When major construction work is done, a street will be brought up to the latest design standards, traffic calming included. Consider this crossing. Here, an arterial road meets a crossing with two minor residential streets. The two streets are cut so that cars cannot go from one to the other, but cycling between the two is still permitted. On the road, the lanes are narrowed by the introduction of a median and visual cues showing that there is a crossing. And of course, there's a continuous sidewalk and cycle path on both sides of the street. This street is in Ermelo, a village of 27,000 people. And this single crossing in Ermelo probably has more traffic calming than just about any street in Canada, and likely the US too.
Yeah, even Britain as well. Like when you see something like this, again, I think this might be something that maybe people in this town would just take for granted, but it's definitely not something you'll see in many other places. But something so simple can just help so many people, whether it's cyclists, drivers of cars and things. Really great.
These big differences in street
So
design
sensible.
come from the drastically different approaches taken by these countries. In the US and in Canada, streets and roads are judged on level of service. Each street is assessed primarily by its capacity to carry cars. In the US, a grade is applied from A through F depending on how smoothly traffic flows in the street. Traffic calming can work against this goal, so it will only be permitted if it does not significantly affect level of service. This is why streets in the US and Canada look like highways, even in city centers. In the Netherlands, a very different approach is taken. In the 1990s, a policy called sustainable safety was introduced, which is interesting and deserves its own video at some point. One of the assumptions of sustainable safety is that humans will make mistakes, so the road itself is designed to protect people and be consistent, to make it easier to do the right thing. A local access road is designed so that most people will naturally drive the speed limit, slow down at crossings, and be aware of other road users, without being explicitly told to do so. This consistent road safety approach makes a huge difference when traveling around the Netherlands. Unlike in Canada, I know that just about wherever I go in the country, I will never have a problem crossing the street. I will never feel worried being outside of a car. And I will never be anxious to walk somewhere. And I'm a lot less concerned about my kids being out in the street as well. Traffic calming can get very technical, so it's easy to get bogged down in the details. But a consistent, safety-first approach to road design can make a measurable difference to how it feels to walk or to cycle around the city. And for our family, that ultimately means a better quality of life here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's just the safety at the end of the day. Like, and yeah, I would love to see like how like the number of accidents or incidents or deaths, that sort of thing, in Netherlands compares to other countries in Europe or other countries worldwide. With all these things, you would imagine it's one of the safest places to drive in. Again, it's not just about driving or cycling, it's about walking and just living there. You can have that confidence that you don't have to worry about getting run over every 2 minutes, which I live in Malaysia. The place is mental for driving. There's no traffic calming here at all. People don't follow the rules. Having young children, it's a bit of a worry, so we don't walk too much on near main roads and that sort of thing as well. But yeah, this just improves your quality of life with these things. So great. Tell me if you're from Netherlands what you think about this. Thanks.